The 3 a.m. inn allows dogs to find ghosts. A country hotel in Germany originally built as a country inn. More than 300 years ago, it had a very grisly past. Evidence found. In the trials of the 17th century, 2 witches were sentenced to death by burning on the ground. The very land where the inn was built. After being in business for a while, the inn went bankrupt in 2008 and it has been vacant until now. Some of the men decided to stay overnight in the big inn and they brought a dog to do a socializing session. He asked anyone there to make a noise when he heard the sound of something knocking on the door from somewhere in the house, and the dog seemed to be staring at something too. Something in the dark. When he and the dog entered the reception, the strange noises started to get louder.
Zweimal. Wurde so.
Es ist keine an der Tür.
Nee.
Aber die Liebe guckt auch hin.
There were inexplicable knocks on the door, and then he decided to go into the kitchen area of the hotel. While looking around, he discovered that the dog was no longer near him but seemed to be looking for something of it. He turned to call the dog and everything became really cold.
Libby!
Komm her.
When the video is slowed down and brightened up, you can see what looks like a tall black shadow standing in the doorway facing the room. When he approached, it quickly darted away, and even scarier was the dog staring directly at that black shadow. After the dog heard the owner's call, it turned its head. At the same time, the black shadow quickly flew away. It seems that the dog can actually see or sense the condition of the dark. So did he catch a ghost, and did the dog really see the darkness? Ma is furious in the station. 2 men are walking to an old abandoned station. The station was closed in the 1980s, where a man tortured himself and drank to death in the train station. The people there believe that his restless spirit still haunts the station to this day. People often see unexplained shadows in the windows of the abandoned station. At exactly 3 a.m. they both went inside. He realized that the house was heavily decaying. The roof looked like it was about to collapse at any moment. He heard a noise but wasn't sure what it was. Fell on the roof? No. Then he heard the sound of broken glass but couldn't figure out where the sound was heard. But what he heard next was even more terrifying.
This thing is going off right now.
Dennis! Dennis!
They began to hear footsteps from above. Both decided to carefully ascend the rotten stairs to the upper floor when things took a scary turn.
Dude. Hang on. Dude, what the fuck is that?
And it just stops.
A lock on the door was swaying back and forth as if possessed by some mysterious force. As he approached, the mysteriously fast-moving door stopped. The 2 men decided to communicate by covering his eyes and wearing headphones so he could hear the answer in the acoustic magnetic field sensor. Then he questioned the spirit haunting the train station. He got only a small answer, but then everything was completely shocking.
What?
Noise over there.
Fuck.
Did you see that?
Do you see a faint silhouette of what looks like a person's upper half is starting to blacken in the bottom of the door in the hallway, but when he shines the flashlight on it is just plain as to disappear into the thin air of the frosty night. They decided to use Ouija boards to communicate with spirits. He was starting to ask when the light bulb was destroyed and everything got really creepy.
it's moving right over.
It's right over T, but I thought it was straighter before.
What was that? The light just died?
Or the light just died. Oh, dude, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out.
The light was turned off even though the battery was fully charged, and then both had to run fast for their own lives. Because the station suddenly started falling apart. He quickly grabbed his camera and ran out of there. What might have happened? Is the ghost of restlessness and anger still haunting that abandoned station? Ghost teasing guard. A mayor of the city in Colombia recently reported that a strange incident happened to his security guard. The security guard said he saw a figure of a man walking down the stairs inside the mayor's office. Then he chased the man, but the man seemed to disappear into thin air, and security guards searched the area, but then things took a scary turn. The security guard seems to be suspicious of some mysterious force that exists around this place. He looks around the area. He seemed to be confused when suddenly an invisible force came and pushed him and threw him on a board. The guard can be seen in a panic. He looks around without seeing anyone in sight. Then he is quickly helped by two other guards. What do you think the guard is doing here? Ghosts at the cemetery follow home. A man claims that ever since he saw a strange doll at the cemetery, something has followed him home and that entity has not left him. He assumes that the dark spirit still follows him when he moves into a new home. On a fateful evening, around 3 a.m., he was awoken by a loud noise in the basement of the house. He decided to burn a kind of fragrant leaves and bring them around the house to ward off evil spirits, when everything became really scary.
I'm not afraid, man. Come on out, man. Oh, yes, yes. Oh, fuck. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
When he opens the basement door, a shadow can be seen standing at the bottom of the stairs staring at him. When he turned on the light, the figure disappeared from view. When he went down to the basement, no one was there, but strangely he heard a voice like a woman laughing from above, and the door slammed, and he was living alone in the house. So you think that black shadow under the basement door and then disappearing is a ghost? Video number 1. The bride on the 3 a.m. train line. The story goes that many years ago a bride on her wedding day discovered her husband's betrayal, and in distraught she ran to the train track. She ended up throwing herself on the train track at exactly 3 a.m. Two men are on that train line. They walked along the dark train tracks and looked around. An almost abandoned train track, with overgrown trees on both sides. But when he stopped near the middle of the train line, he told about the ghost bride. Everything became really creepy.
Estamos chegando. Leonardo do céu! Olha o vulto branco lá, ó! Passando atrás de você, cara!
A graceful, white silhouette was crossing the track like a bride in a long wedding dress speeding across the track. When both men ran to look in the bushes, there was nothing for her, simply disappeared into thin air. Do you think the dark figure of a woman in the corner behind the door is a ghost? The blank face with a white eye then disappearing right behind him is a ghost. I look forward to receiving your comments in the comment week. Please register to share with everyone. Sincerely thank you.